Hello, everyone. We are back. I hope you loved round six with Ori Swift and Eric Goldstein. I know I had a fantastic time watching that game. What a showdown. And I think we're in for another one with Kevin Burbridge versus Zach Ansell. Kevin and Zach are both at 5-1. I do know a little bit more about Zach than I do about Kevin. I do know, for example, that Zach is an incredible player, incredible anagrammer, and happens to know like all 15-letter words, I think. Like he's actually studied them. So if I see a 15-letter word come down on this board, I'm calling it. I'm calling it. But Matt, do you know much about Kevin?
No, and I actually think it's really fun to watch relative unknown players. Kevin's rating has gone up a lot. He's at a new peak according to cross tables in the mid 1500s right now. And anytime a player's at a peak, you know they're still underrated. The question is how much. So Kevin gets to show us. He's had a great start to the tournament. 5-1 in this field is a big deal, but not a great start to this game. CGOUV, but one really solid play. Out of this rack. It's Vigour,
And
and
he's
he's
already found
crushed
it.
it. Nice.
Incredible. That took him like no time.
It's confidence, and that's a big part of rising up to the top and feeling like you belong in Division One. Is playing racks like this with confidence. Great job, Kevin. Good
This is
start.
really beautifully done. And Zach's drawn himself into a blank and the Z. I don't see a playable 7 or 8 for him right now. I think maybe just getting rid of the Z, maybe the I, ZI, Zig, perhaps would be fine here. I don't know. I mean, I hate to see all those O's on my rack, but what are you going to do? Am I right?
Oh my goodness, chat's pointing out there was one possible eight that Zach could have had, and he had six floaters put out in space, but didn't get the E or Y he needed for Epizooty.
Wow.
Epizooty. Did not know that one either. A type of animal disease. I'm sure there's tons of those, but I'm sure Zach
I'm
knew that
sure
word.
there's
I'm sure
tons
he's
of
just a
this.
little bit upset. This moment flashed in his head of like, what if I get to play this on stream? And thwarted.
And to win style points? Yes, absolutely. He's got a hard, I mean, maybe it's not a terrible idea to hang on to that Z. Perhaps he just wants to play something like opt to the side of vigor, making GOPO and UT, Like maybe that's not a bad idea here. But Zig seems okay as well. He hasn't even touched oh, there we go. Like he hasn't even touched his tiles.
He's probably just tilting from having Epizooty blocked for like a minute, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm going to play Zig now," and then he did. Zig is correct. Zach did
Good
that
on
one right,
him.
but yeah, just tilt for a minute and then play it. I think that might be what that was.
Well, I'm glad that that came down because we're back to Kevin, and he hasn't really drawn himself anything that looks very bingo prone to my eyes. I think he's just gonna have to get rid of that G. Nobody likes to see that G on their rack unless they can play it in a bingo. And maybe he might want to play Mog. Maybe he might want to play MOG off somewhere. Maybe he might want to play. God, this is not easy. Like maybe Mogul through the U. Oh, actually, never mind. I hate that. Just like Mog to the side of Vigor perhaps might be an okay play here.
Kevin has one of these situations where no matter what you do, you're not going to feel great about it. Like the fact that the top play generated by the computer is Mog for 14 points, holding CELO, just is a testament to how rough this turn is. It's just an awkward combination of letters that he's drawn after the six tile play. Mog definitely has its warts. It opens up the board in ways you don't exactly like. Play like Groom through the R, and Vigor gets rid of your worst tiles but gives your opponent a ton back. Nothing is going to make you feel good this turn at all.
Right.
I
Right.
think at the end of the day, playing a lot of tiles and trying to get an S is a good idea. I might end up backing into glows through the Z and
Right.
Zig, but just all of these options are uninspiring. You got to do something. Mog is totally reasonable here.
I think so too. And if he wants to play off those tiles, Mog is much better than something like Gorm, Gorm through the R of Vigor. I mean, Gorm would be 11, Mog would be 14. I think if you're going to play the tiles, play them for points. Or, I guess you could play MIG, MIG through the I of Zig. So that would make MI and it would make GO. I think that could be, I guess it would be defensible, right? Like it's scoring 17 points, but it does keep two O's, and you really, really don't want to do that. So I'd really like to see him play off at least one O.
Yeah, I would say playing MIG through that I is defensible in the sense that you are allowed to defend it with words, but that doesn't make the definition make sense. Just the double O's together is such a death combination. You've got to play one off here. MIG does some good defensive things, but you got to play another Val here.
I feel like for the amount of points that it scores, which is two more than the other option that he's got, I can understand why he might play it. But I don't think he even considered it. I feel like he thought about Mog, and that's where he was at. And this is what we've seen gone down. So good for him.
Zach has one playable bingo and it's a 9. All right, let's show off, kid. Did you actually
Okay.
study all the 9s through 15s? You can play one now, or you can not bingo at all.
You know,
I don't know this word.
I mean, is this an Italian origin?
It's gotta be.
I feel
It's
like,
gotta be.
and if I hear that Zach Ansell
Oh,
is
oh, he should actually know this one. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is a hook. He should know
right,
this word.
there
Yeah.
we go. Yeah. So here's the thing: if he's studying Latin at school, I feel like maybe he's also studying Italian. Maybe I mean they're very closely related. You get one, the other one is easier to come by. As someone who has studied both, I feel like he'd be able to find this.
He's not going to know this from everyday life, but he's going to know this as the hook. He studied the 8 letter Portolan, Portolan. That takes it back O, Portolano. And that's what he's got playable here. Portolano for 62, the only bingo. Oh, that is so hard. Zach knows this word. I know he's seen it before.
I wonder if it's okay to just instead play Zoa here instead. Because, I mean, 62-point bingo, yes, obviously, if you're getting 62 points, you want to get it. But that blank could actually probably score you a few more points. Maybe just play Zoa and hope to hit a higher scoring bingo later.
This turn looks very obvious to be Zoa, and most people just play that instantly. I would have played it already for sure. Like, that's a very strong play. But that 9 is there, and the 9 is probably better than passing it. You've just got to be 100% certain on that word, and I don't know. Zach's gonna take his time and anagram it.
I feel like even if I saw Portolano, I'd just second guess myself out of it. Like it just you think of Portolano, you're like, okay, yeah, that would maybe take an S, but and I feel like that's just something that a hallucinating brain would have come up with when they're like really tired of have been playing Scrabble for I don't know 7 rounds now.
I don't know.
But then
Weird hooks
again,
stick.
this
Weird
is
hooks stick.
yeah, that's true. I mean, this is Zach Ansell. He's an incredible player. He's played youth Scrabble. He's just really good at word finding. If there's anyone who can do it and be sure that it's a word, it's going to be Zach Ansell.
Chat pointing out it was also added recently, Portolan to Portolano, so maybe he noticed it in an update. That's one of those things that just pops into your head. Like, the first time you see antelope takes a front G, you're just like, every time I see antelope, I'm going to think antelope now. But
Oh,
did I teach you that one? Now you're always going to think of it.
I knew that cantaloupe was a word, but I'd never thought of it kind of like that. I
Yeah.
wonder if I am going to remember it now.
Well, this one's fun because it's Ortolin to Portolin to Portolano too. So it's like people tend to remember all those things, but that's really hard. With the 2 O's on my rack, I wouldn't look to bingo through the OR. Zoa, I think, or piano is also what he's looking at. That's fine. Um, oh man, 9 alert.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I think Zoa is gonna come down here. If I mean, I don't know if Portolano is. I don't know if Portolano is as findable right now. I mean, with a blank, it makes nines harder to see. Like, not that they're not doable, not that this isn't possible. I just, you know, I feel like it might be. I feel like Zach is, with his OA to the side, his telegraph that he's kind of like giving up. Um, wait, he's still shuffling. Okay, there we go. All right. A human play. A
Yep, yep.
very good play.
Nigel plays Portolano. Everybody else plays Zoa, and Zoa's fine. Zoa's good. That's what mortals do.
That is what mortals do. Yes. And for Kevin, who has had some time to think, he's going to play very quickly. He's playing vocal, keeping the E. Oh, never mind. He's playing vocal. I feel like orc and cello might have been a good play here. I mean, vocal is one more point, but I just like the leave after a cello so much more.
Zach has immediately found his bingo. Like before the board is even spun, it's already set up on his rack. He has one playable bingo. Its opponent plays from the O and Vigor, and he's found it. Word Machine, Zach Ansell, my pick to win this tournament too. He's making me proud so far, 5-1, and on pace to bingo. He's got to look through that A and make sure there's nothing there. But uh, with the anagrammer in tow, we know there's nothing there. We know Zach C's opponent. It's hard to play that. Put this E in the 7th spot of a triple triple in the spooky voodoo New Orleans, but it's Zach's only bingo. He's going to play it.
I wonder if he's thinking of just any other plays, maybe something that has maybe there's a double double from Mog. I don't think that there there's. I mean, we know that there isn't, but I don't think there's any reason to really look there too hard. He's seen, of course, as you mentioned, he's seen opponent. Maybe he's trying to see if there's something that I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised that this hasn't gone down as easily. Maybe he's thinking of like a vocals hook, but like you can kind of see like with that many consonants, there's not going to be a seven. So I'm glad that he's making opponent. I'm glad that he's playing this quickly.
Yeah, word machine. He's gonna find these
Word
bingos and
machine
get
is
them right.
right.
That's one way you can tell a player's rough skill on the words is just how quickly they play out of these bingo racks with confidence. Zach plays quick. He should.
Absolutely.
114 to 62 is his lead. Kevin Deeeilr. He's not gonna have the tiles he needs to punish that E, but he's trying Needlier, which I'll
Oh,
confess I thought was gonna maybe pop up, but this is not a word.
that's really interesting. Oh, is it going to be challenged? It's definitely
Yeah,
going to be challenged, right? It has to be
yeah,
challenged.
yeah.
Is it going to be? It's not an instant
Kevin
challenge.
is
Wait.
not drawing. Yeah, Zach is holding. He's going to look at his rack. Oh, he has narrated, right? So this actually gives back narrated to Zach. He might leave it on. I don't think he should, but
Interesting.
oh boy, this is a decision now. Zach sees all of this, I'm sure, already and is doing math. Do I
Oh.
challenge the bingo or does bingo back? If Zach is even like 20% sure Needlier is valid, he should leave it and bingo back. He has to be very, very confident in this challenge now.
That's interesting. I mean, he
Oh,
has to think a few turns. Okay, that's probably a courtesy draw,
yeah,
I
it's got to
believe.
be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a courtesy draw, or Kevin would have drawn his tiles already by now. Um, Interesting. So here's the thing with courtesy draw, right? Like if you draw your courtesy tiles and then your word is challenged and it comes off, you actually have to show, as far as I'm aware, you have to show the tiles that you drew out of the bag before you put them back in, right? So is there some sort of I guess, positive EV to not drawing courtesy tile so that your opponent. Oh, okay, he's letting
He's
it stay.
accept it and let it go. And Needlier is Collins apparently, so there could be like Zach has to be extremely sure that this is invalid to challenge it, and he's opting for the lower variance option. So a phony bingo by Kevin Burbridge stays on the board, but Zach bingo's back with narrated. We've got an interesting game of Scrabble underway here. Is that two B's?
I
B
believe
Bandit?
so. And I think Kevin's just I mean, it'd be so nice for him to just play like ebb, just like, the ebb and flow of a tide from the E of opponent. I feel like you really don't want those B's on your rack. Yes, he's seen Bandit, but I don't think it's that great of a play as compared to like ebb because it's 20 points. It gets rid of the BB and keeps like a pretty great lead.
This turn's really hard. This turn deserves a lot of time. This turn's really hard and really important for Kevin. There's so much to think about here. You can't just blitz into a play like Ebb. It is solid. Ebb's a really solid play, great leave, but there's so much positioning on this board.
Right, because I mean, wait, no, actually, now that you mention it, yes, I think Bandit might be better than I gave it credit for before. But you know what might even be better? I think BITT from the T of opponent making ET for 24 points. I think that might be the best bet that Kevin has right now. I mean, it scores really well. It takes out the threat of that triple. I think that Bandit or Bit or something like that would be great. He's identified that he does not want that B, obviously. Where is he gonna put it on the board though?
Yeah, I was gonna float out BITT as an alternative, and then you floated it out and said exactly why you want to make that play. I think it feels counterintuitive to be down and to try to obstruct the board, but that line is so terrifying. Zach can score so well, and if you make a play like EBB, I think it even gets easier for Zach to play there next turn. So I don't think you play Ebb. Kevin is looking to turn over a lot of tiles. He's going to play Bandit and see what he finds in the bag. Um,
I don't mind this move. So I think it's a good find. I mean, I think it's a good play. I think, especially when you're relatively lower rated against a player, you do want to go ahead and increase the volatility of that board. I think he's done a good job making this move. And Zach here probably wishing that he was playing another dictionary because he's drawn into quite a lot of vowels. He does, however, have a standout J play, which is one of the first few words that we learn when we learn our JQXE words. And he's spotted it immediately. It's on his rack. He's totally going to get this down for 30 points.
Yeah, JIAO, a very useful word and one of the only words that is even warrants any discussion other than exchanging. But when you can score 30 for Jow, like usually do it. UIA is not a great leave. Zach now has to be very afraid of the T in opponent and the opportunities there, but you have no choice but to play Jow here. And Kevin has had a great draw, but
Nice.
unbelievably, somehow Kevin is not going to bingo at all this turn. Nothing
Whoa.
plays. That's a beautiful rack, and man, he's going to have to spend some time, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Nothing plays, and I'm curious to see then in this situation, will Kevin cash in through that T, or will he try to open the board and capitalize on this blank? Oh, this is so fun. This is a good game.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I think there's a strong chance that he might actually play that S of his. So when you have an S and you have a blank, one of the things that I've learned from someone like Matt O'Connor is that, the S isn't as valuable as it would have been on its own once you've got that blank in hand. Like that blank is going to make life so much better for you. I think if Kevin here ends up playing something like bouts, Bouts, through the T of opponent, that's 36 points. That's a really good use of your S.
Oh,
But
he's gonna
he's
play out beats for 0. He's gonna try the triple triple, and this is not good. But you gotta take your swing.
this is definitely going to have to be challenged. There's no way this doesn't get
Let's watch
challenged.
Zach's poker face. Zach has to know immediately, or
Wow.
maybe not. Maybe Zach doesn't know. Maybe he thinks this is
He's,
huge.
I bet he knows. I bet he knows because,
Watching that poker face. Lady Gaga song. Somebody sing it. Not me. Y'all don't want me singing.
oh my gosh.
Oh my God! As Kevin slowly counts up this play. Oh, the intensity of the moment. Hold.
Oh, this is not an instant challenge,
Not an instant challenge.
but is it on holds? It
Yeah,
appears
Kevin
to
is not
be.
drawing. Yeah, this is. Oh, I mean, wow,
Wow. Okay.
wow, wow, wow.
So I think what's possible that's happening is like Zach is probably going to write out the alphagram. So he's going to write this in alphabetical order, and he's going to look at it, and he's going to be like, "Do I recognize this? Do I recognize that there is a 8-letter word in this rack?" And I think he's going to. There we go. He's going to quickly find that he does not recognize it. Zach is an incredible player, incredible anagrammer. I think he's very likely to challenge. As we see, we're going up to the challenge computer.
Okay, yeah, type it right. Challenge both words.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate the effort though, for sure. Like that slam dunk, I win the game. And when you're sub 30% to win, you take that shot. If
Right.
you're even remotely confident, it's good.
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, he had to do it. He had to do that. This is not one of the scrofula moments. This was a word that I think Zach was very confident was not real, and now he gets a shot at playing through that T. I think he's going to be able to quickly figure out that his opponent doesn't have a 7 that plays anywhere on this board. And I think once he realizes that and does that calculation, he's going to play something like weights, like Waits, through that T that Kevin just tried to play through.
I don't know how quickly he's going to figure that out. Like, if you're Zach, you really do want to think this through. Make sure there's nothing that he could have. Take your time before you just rush and play audits or weights. But yeah, slowly take your time. Be tactical. When you have perfect knowledge of your opponent's rack, make sure you do it exactly right. Make sure there's nothing weird through the L and needlier. Make sure there isn't anything through the T, and then choose your best option.
That's a really good point. I mean, I think that we see players who have successfully challenged off their opponent's word, finding that they spend a lot of time on their turn now because they're not just playing their own rack; they're now playing through their opponent's tiles as well. So they're thinking, okay, what if I do this? What if I do this? What does my opponent do in return? What does my opponent do here? We saw this with Joel Wapnick and David Wiegand earlier this morning, where it does take you a little bit of time to work through, as you just mentioned, what could my opponent possibly have? You have to think through the weird possibilities.
Yeah, And so Zach is wisely taking his time. He can play extremely fast as he needs to. He's one of those people who's been playing for so long and started so young. They just see most of the options instantly. And yeah, he's looking at WADI now. Um, that still obstructs the triple triple opportunities. It also stops bouts, but I don't know. I would just cash in the S here. Play weights.
Yeah, I feel like weights would be nice here. I mean, it does keep that U, which I mean nobody's happy to keep. But then again, I think keeping a U and playing weights for 42 points is much better than playing audits for 30 and keeping WI.
You want to think about the unseen pool before you pull the trigger on audits versus weights either way. But one thing that makes me drawn towards weights is the fact that while DUI is not a good leave, there's only two more eyes left in the whole pool. You're probably not going to triple or quadruple up on those. That's the big fear. The U's could hurt you really, really bad and force an exchange, but points are points. I'd score 42 of them right now.
That's fair. I mean, that could be one of the fears about the U. But with the Q unseen, maybe it's not too dangerous to hold on to that just in case. And 42 points, 42 points is so nice to have. Now, what's Kevin to do? I don't think he has. Wow, does he really have any great plays here? I I don't know. I mean, his best spot just got taken up.
Yeah, this is the big sad that you feel. You took your big shot and it didn't work out, and now all of a sudden your next best plays are all also wiped out, and you just got to figure out something to do. And man, there's really just not a lot left for Kevin. I mean, you can't fault him on the attempt, but
Mhm.
an OB and BO in the bottom corner of this board beneath the Jow is reasonable. It sets up that S to a moderate degree, and I think that's what you have to do to try to stay alive here. You got to score a little bit, try to bingo next turn, set up a new line, just do something. But
Right.
chances are very thin, very quick.
Interestingly, it seems that Zach has picked that Q out of the bag, so he does have a U to go with it. He's lucked into this. And okay, so Kevin has identified BEAU on his rack. Does he see the spot that I see, which is bin, ETA, and bow? Because that is on the interior of the board that isn't giving him another lane, but it is quite a lot of points. It is 20 points. I feel like that could be an interesting move to see. Just really not opening the board up for himself, though.
Yeah, I think that's why BO at the bottom is the play I like here. Now Zach did just put down an S, so maybe there's a chance he had a second one, but putting down that S just makes sense. Waits is a really really good play out of so many racks. I don't think I'm making any kind of inference that he's got another one. You've got to take the shot. If you're Kevin, you're down 100. Knob on the bottom. But it's really scary to make plays like that too against someone as good as Zach, because if he does have it, he is going to find it. He's going to punish you very hard.
Right. I mean, I wonder if it's a little dangerous. So, all right. So he's got ABE off to the side. Where could he be looking? Maybe. Maybe he's still searching for a 7, but, like, where would it go? Maybe just, like, an incredible underlap underneath, like, Jiao and narrated? Maybe he's hoping for a miracle 7 there? But, I mean, I'd like to see him make some sort of attempt at opening. So like, bandito is a word, right? Like, so if he played bandito and orb, he holds that S and a
Ooh,
blank. Now that would be fun.
ooh,
That's
that's good.
interesting.
That's good. That's way better than Knob and Bo. Bandito and Orb is a really nice play. Yeah, maybe that's his spidey senses saying, "Hey, Kevin, take some more time. Look for something cool." Let's see, what is this? B. Oh, he's going to play
Oh,
Bow on top, so he's going to set up opportunities above this. Set up Oba stacks. That opens the board too and plays off some bells.
it's going to be slightly harder to bingo to that Oba, but you know what? It's still technically an opening. And I like that he's able to identify that that's what he needs to do here, as opposed to really perhaps hoping that Zach will give him an opening, which he will not. Zach is too smart to do that.
I think
Oh my
Zach has
gosh.
seen it. Yeah, I think Zach sees it already.
Oh
There's
my
one
gosh.
play that you see it unequivocally the best play here. Oh,
Yes,
here
it
it
is.
is.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh boy.
yes,
Oh
yes,
my gosh.
yes, yes. Good job, Zach.
Oh
Oh, that's
wow.
so sick.
Look at Kevin. Wow. He was just like, yeah, that's really cool.
Sometimes you just tip your cap. Like,
He
that's
just
awesome. That's
That
Scrabble.
was amazing. Oh, that was so pretty. That was just nice.
I didn't get Epizuti, but I got equivocal, so that's pretty cool. Uh,
Oh my gosh. But you know what? It does give an E to Kevin to play through. So he can actually play. Oh my God, he can play bingos here. I mean, I will say this. If you give me a V and a Y and you tell me, hey, here's a blank on top of that, good luck finding a bingo, I'm probably going to cry first and look for the bingo second. Like it's really nice to know that there's a bingo, but I think it's hard to see a bingo in this position. I think when you're like, if you haven't studied these bingos, if you haven't studied them as alphograms, even if you know bingos as common words, I really do think it can be hard to see them.
Viceroys makes this an interesting game, actually. Like Kevin's down a big score, but Viceroys does almost exactly what you want to do to the board if you see it. Um, Kevin, it might be correct to not bingo here. Ivory and Bandito is so sick. Play off IVOY, get 31 points and hold RS blank. That's so good, but there's not a lot of bingo opportunity on this board. Viceroys is probably better. Revisory is kind of GG, but I don't know. Do you even see the bingos? It's hard to look with IOVY on your rack. Do you notice Bandito? That's super hard to spot. I didn't see it till Nits noticed it.
That is a hard one. Or maybe you just play Ivy and YE of the E of equivocal,
That
and
makes
then you
sense.
hope that, next time you can like your blank a T, or you can draw into one of the unseen T's, and you hope like your opponent doesn't take that spot. But that's a lot of hoping there. That's a lot of hoping there. The one benefit of the play of Ivy, though, is that it does give you a spot for a seven above. So, like, if you're able to start a word with like something that is a front hook to YE, you would be able to play, like something that starts with an R or a T or an O or an A or an E, like you'd still be able to get a seven-letter word down there.
Ivy's a great board forking play. The way you wield that V, you set up tie V and the spot on top of YE. You fork the board, but you can't block both lines.
Right.
Zach would need a T to block one line, and the other line is just annoying and hard to block in a substantial way. Ivy, even though it only scores 20 or 23, is a really good play here as well for what it does. But you can score 31 with Ivory. You can bingo right now. Like everything makes sense for Kevin. You're just trying to figure out which of these gets me up to 7% and which others are 4 or 5%.
Right. Exactly. It's a tough turn. I mean, oh, okay. I think he sees.
Revisory.
Oh, wow. Or I was thinking advisory, but I mean, obviously that doesn't play on this board. But is he going to try revisory? I'd really like to see him do so.
We'll see. Relative unknown. It's hard to make predictions about players I don't know too much about, but
That's fair.
his moment to flex on stream in one way, make some kind of statement.
So yeah, I mean, Kevin has attempted to play bingos that aren't, like in this dictionary, and that does show that he's got the desire to try out words. I think there was I mean, if he had seen revisory, I wasn't sure of it. I think there's a chance that we would have seen it come down. I think over is a really good play for if he can't, if he's not bingoing this time.
Yeah, this is a good play. And you can see Zach is actually going to be locked. He has to play on the top of this board. GADI and QI is so good, but the Y in space is going to be exactly what Kevin needs for a major score. And he might be able to capitalize. Big pull IS blank, and there's another S.
That's a really good point because right now I bet Zach can identify that E as a bit of a threat, but that Y is going to give him so many points for Edgely, which he's set up on his rack now. That's going to be 33 points. Gadi, as you said, is 37. That's a really good play. He does see it. He's setting it up on his rack right now. I think he just needs to identify which of these spots is just a bigger threat. He's sure to win this game right now, I think. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's locked in for this game. Um, maybe he's just gonna do Edgely, which is the first thing that he saw. Maybe he's gonna go back on it. Maybe he's gonna do that.
I'm a little hesitant to play off the case A here. That unseen pool's unwieldy. There's 5 E's, no A's. So Gotti actually doesn't feel great. I don't want to hold EEL with 5 more E's coming my way potentially. The longer I look at this, the more like I like Edgely, and
I
Zach
like that.
decides the same. A nice play.
Good on him. That's he saw it first of the plays, and he got back to it. I'd really like to see Kevin, try another bingo here. I think he can hit. I mean, he can hit a few bingos that don't score a lot, that only score like in their um, like high 50s. But he does have one playable bingo that is going to get him more than 59 points. It's going to get him 73 points. I'd love to see it if you guys could spot it in the chat right now. But maybe if he doesn't see it, maybe if he does see the 59, 58, 57 point bingos, maybe he shouldn't play it. Oh, he
We
sees it.
need blank cam because I bet this is going to be designated a D. That's a famous phony seedings, the valid seemings. Like nobody knows this stuff. Is Kevin actually going to make this an M? That's a
I think he's
huge.
more than capable of doing this.
That's very hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more than capable of getting seamings down on the board. Oh, come on, Kevin. Ooh, we're really rooting for him here.
Or did they add seedings? I don't think they did. Seedings is just edginess. I don't know what the blank is.
Oh, wow. If we could get confirmation on the
And
blank,
Zach. Blank is
that
a
is a
D. See,
D.
that's exactly what I said was going to happen.
I love to have hope in my players. I love to see these people come here and I love to see them do their best. And I really wanted this to be an M.
I would have stumbled into the same exact trap. I would have lost exactly the same turn in exactly the same way. I don't know if this play is even
Yeah.
on hold. It might have just been accepted, or it might be on hold, and these
Oh,
might be
wow.
courtesy tiles. But the blank is a D, confirmed from
But
our team on the
the
ground.
I feel like Kevin picked up the ties very quickly. So I feel like it's not a courtesy draw. I feel like incredible. And my apologies to chat for not noticing that you had already found Seemings. Thank you, you guys, for being here and for participating and for watching this incredible showdown. This is such a great tournament to be a part of. And I love that you guys can join us from afar. I love that you guys are able to see these incredible words and give us ideas and creative solutions when, it's just me and Matt. And we'd love to hear you guys' opinions. Unfortunately, Kevin's drawn into all continents, and Zach is going to have his time with that S on the board.
I wonder if the play is on hold or not. It's hard for me to even dig in and look at Zach's turn. He set up faxes, and that's pretty clearly correct, I think, at first glance. But um, okay, so
Okay, there we go.
another phony bingo. Zach has accepted two phony bingos of Kevin's this game, but I would have
That's
probably accepted at least one of them too. Scrabble's crazy.
that's incredible to me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think that that would stay on just because you mentioned that that's a very incredibly common phony. I feel like at that point, players become aware that this is something that you see on the board quite a bit. So Fax is going down for 45. I'm glad that Zach was able to get that. I don't think he's any in under much pressure right now because, as we know, Kevin has drawn just clunk. He's drawn clunk. This is a tough time for him.
Yeah, that's just literally nightmare. Like go in and find the most ludicrous rack I can find in the bag, and somehow Kevin did that. That's actually impressive. But at this point, at this
Wow.
score, like you must score, or you can't exchange. There's only six in the bag. All right, you're just
Ah,
stuck. Sorry, Kevin. That's
rough.
brutal. Oh
I was gonna
man.
say like the pool looks nice-ish. Like it looks pretty okay. Like if he could have exchanged, that would have been awesome. But no, I think his highest scoring play at best is gonna be like at best like 19, 20, 21 points, something like that. Terrible, terrible. Oh, this is rough. Chad has suggested Welk, Whelk. There are two places where he could play that. One is the EL that is made from the E of bow and the L of equivocal. That Welk would score 19 points. There is one through the first E of equivocal, and that would be 15 points. I do not know how to pronounce that word, so I'm going to keep tripping over it and try not to pronounce it. And terrible time all around.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's just a rough draw. But I'm tripping out about the fact that Zach has probably lost 200 equity points this game. But like I would have lost the same 200 probably and accepted the same phonies, and he's still gonna win. And he made the sickest play of the tournament. Like Scrabble's so weird like that. I think he played this game fine, but by an equity loss perspective, like with all the accepted phonies and stuff, that's how it is.
I would love actually to see Hauf come down now that I think about this consonant overload. That O and opponent, maybe Hauf there would be just okay. So Kevin has seen
Welk.
HLK.
Welk, WHELK.
Oh, he has seen Welk. That's good. That's good. Where is he gonna
Through
play
through the E and
it?
equivocal.
Unless, I mean, I hope he decides to play off that L. I kind of want him to get rid of that extra consonant.
He's just gonna lose no matter what he does. It's
No,
tough.
I
Yeah.
know, but I think at this point, if I'm in Kevin's shoes, what I want to think about is what can I do to optimize my spread? What can I do to save myself to the end of this game? Because we know we can't resign,
Right.
so we can't have Kevin, like passing all his turns, even though sometimes you're in you're in such a terrible position, you kind of just want to rage quit your game and you can't. So unfortunately, he doesn't have this option. So when you're in this position and you're losing and you are stuck with an incredibly horrible wreck, what are you supposed to do? And I think here, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart, because you need to keep your best mindset about you so that you can play your next game. There's one more game left today. We are still commentating, and he needs to keep that mindset of just being able to move on, get to the next move, get to the next game, to be able to continue succeeding as he has in this tournament.
Yeah, he's looking at chew now. I mean, just you got to play some of these consonants. All of these words are rough to make because the leave is so bad for all of them because your rack is just so bad. Like I can't believe he drew
Oh, wow.
literally this rack.
Interesting. So he does play it through the EL. I think that's really great board vision. I mean, it's so much easier to play it through the first E that maybe you don't even try to look for like other places. That's incredible. No I for misentry though right now. So Zach's gonna have to do without a bingo. He's just gonna have to go ahead and play through this rack. Um, that H of Welk has given him a great spot to get off three of his consonants. So that's nice.
Oh yeah, man, that's a really tough to spot play. But Zach has one really sweet option from the H, as Nits pointed out. Him HYMN addresses any possible concern you have about triple triples that can't exist with the unseen pool. But oh man, that scores really well. ERST will be what you draw your final tiles into. Sick play.
Lovely. I mean, it's just, oh boy. I mean, the thing is that when you see a game like this and you see, the underdog kind of drawing poorly and you really want them to do better, you really want them to be able to play a closer game, it it kind of hurts a little bit, like you really I mean, we adore Zach and he's so kind and he's so fun to be around. Um it's just really great to see close games. It's really nice to see players drawing kind of equally of the tiles that they get out of the bag. Again, Matt, I know you've mentioned that you kind of make the luck in this game with like what you leave and what you play. But sometimes, you know what? I think your fingers just touch the kind of tiles that don't agree with your tummy.
I mean, what else could Kevin do? Like, he got two phony bingos by on turns where he didn't otherwise have phony, and he still
Right.
lost by 100. Like, he did everything he
Yeah,
could. He tried his very best and then some.
absolutely.
He even snuck some extra spread out. He probably played a positive equity game, and yet,
Yes.
sometimes you just get mowed down. I don't know.
And
I mean, what else could Kevin have done? Should he
I
have tried a
know.
third phony bingo? Maybe it would have worked. I don't know. Uh,
Oh, wow. Oh, and he
nice.
sees him.
Sick.
Beautiful.
Sick.
Beautiful.
All right. A little extra flash on what was a cool game.
All right. On to Kevin. I think he's seen Chef. I think we've seen that. Oh, wait. Okay. So, little tidbit for you guys in the chat. So Louche, louche, is a word. That is a valid word. And Kevin has an F on the front of that word. I don't know if he's about to attempt the word. I don't know if it's worth trying it. But I can tell you that it is unfortunately not a word. And because it looks so similar to Louche, I think it's really understandable if you kind of just think that think it is a word.
Yeah, luckily for Kevin, it doesn't fit, so he can't play it even if he wants to. Louche is a thing I've never seen before, but that is a good end game. Maybe that's what he's thinking about. But Yeah, I don't know. FLUE now? Oh, he's just trying to find an out in two sequence that's good.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh boy. I mean, it's hard not to give up in a moment like this when okay, you've lost this game, you're probably losing by 100 points. It's really hard to force yourself to kind of think through the end game and try to play like the optimal end game to try and save that spread amount. It's hard to be like, listen, I should keep doing this because it's worth it for future me. Future me is going to be thankful that I did this. At some point, you get so tired, you're like, hey, maybe I just want to save my brain space for the next game instead. Maybe I just want to kind of give up and put my hands in the air. Unfortunately, Kevin is still going to have to try and play through this rack. He doesn't have a lot of, um, I mean, right, like he's not winning this game. So if he gets LOCHE down to the side of Faxes, I think that's an incredible play. I think that he should go ahead and he should play that.
It is happy hour here in New Orleans. The Drury has opened up its infamous happy hour, 5:30 to 7. Every player who stays at the hotel gets 3 free drinks per night, and already some players are starting to head that direction. Now, guys, there's still another game of Scrabble to be played. You need to make good choices. It's day one. Day two, maybe I could understand, but day one, let's behave ourselves, Scrabblers. We'll
Do you
see.
ever do you ever when you're playing at NOLA ever look forward to your opponents kind of like running to happy hour and coming back with multiple drinks because at least, hey, my opponent is now no longer sober and is probably not playing their best.
I'm even more excited if they have multiple drinks because that means one of them's for me, baby. Let's do it. I've played a game in the hotel bar at this tournament before because there was a football game that went to overtime, and my opponent and I really wanted to watch. So we're like, can we just take the equipment, go to the bar, watch on the TV, and come back when we're done? And we got the green light. So you know what happens in New Orleans, baby. I
You
love this
love to see
tournament.
it.
Love this tournament.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I think Kevin really needs to get a move on. He's got less than 2 minutes now. He definitely doesn't want to go overtime. He's got positive equity for all the because he was able to get past Zach right now. And I don't think losing points on the time penalty is gonna be great. Uh Definitely needs to get something on the board. I don't know if there's anything super obvious. At this point, I mean, you see fuel or you see clef or you see chef or you see loche and you just get it down, you just get it down on the board. So faux, so that leaves, I think, clue for next time. I can see him wanting to play that right now. Maybe it's better to play clue first and play faux later.
Yeah, I think he's just got one spot to go out now, CLUE and FE, and that could theoretically be blocked by Zach. But Kevin's so low on time, you don't want to take the penalty. Just, I guess, do that.
Right, absolutely. And it's hard, like, kind of to divorce yourself from, oh, I have to also score points. And Foe scores 28 points, which feels really good when you're doing it. So I can understand why he's gone ahead and he's done that. And Zach is going to be able to play, I think,
Street.
just street. Yeah, lovely. Or, yeah, or tester, setter, terse, anything
Yeah,
that wins him
yeah.
this game. He has 7 minutes on his clock. I would be surprised if he takes more than a minute or two at this point. Maybe he's just looking for the few places that Clue goes, and then he's probably just gonna play his tiles.
Oh, Kevin has two outs. He can play to the blank D in seedings, clued as well.
Oh,
Zach
nice.
could theoretically block both of those. He's probably going to figure out if it's actually right to do that. Um,
Well, isn't that gonna bail him out? Better. I mean, now I'm saying, isn't it better that it was a D instead of an M?
it is, yeah. I mean, just another dramatic twist in this game. The D comes out to matter instead of the M for a different reason later on.
You love to see it.
Love to
All
see it.
right. Yeah, you love to. All right, Zach. This is on you now. Now, Zach, I believe, is not old enough to enjoy the happy hour, but maybe Kevin's gonna want to partake. Maybe join us, the rest of us, as we go down and stand in line to uh, to make ourselves happy for before for a few more games of Scrabble. I believe we have one more today and another
He
12
did it.
coming
I
for
knew
you.
he was going to block both of the outs. He did it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I don't think it's right, but it's fun. It's just a middle finger. Uh-oh.
Okay, well, Zach really going for it here. What's Kevin to do? What's
Oh,
Kevin to
this gives
do?
Culet back, Culat. This is actually a terrible endgame, but so you try to be flashy and cute, but you actually just mess it up really bad.
Oh no.
But then you get in Kevin's head, and he must think, "Oh, Culet can't be a word because why would you give that to me?" So
Oh my gosh.
funny.
So I believe chat also agrees with us that sometimes it's just nice to partake in the happy hour before you play a game. You know what? I think it just I'm not an advocate for one over the other. I'm not saying that one is better than the other for your health or whatever. I'm just saying sometimes it's great not to be anxious before you play, some incredible players. Sometimes it's just really nice to, feel like all right, this is just a fun little hangout with my friends.
All right, so Culet's not coming down. LOC and Covary not coming down. EL is coming down. Okay, that's time
13
induced from
points.
Kevin. 13 points, and those will be, I believe, his final 13 points. Zach has Street to go out. Looks like 4-5-2 to 3-4-4 the final here. Let's go to overhead mic and see what we hear from these players.
3-0. Okay, well played. So 444 plus 8, 452.
Yes.
344.
Yes.
So here, what would you see?
I saw nothing.
Yeah,
I did not see bingo for you.
there were sevens there,
Yeah.
but I didn't see a place to play.
No playable sevens, eights. I even looked for disconnected nines there and didn't see any.
I didn't see anything interesting to see what the stream says as far as Quackle or Ziziba coming up with a disconnected 9.
Yeah, like this, there's maybe something with the L and N.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see anything. That was part of the reason it took so long on this.
Yeah.
Part of it was I miswrote down what you had.
Oh, really?
And so I wrote down the wrong letters of blank, so I thought you had outweights, and that's why I took. This was pretty clearly the best.
But I didn't have outweights.
No.
Yeah.
I realized that. And I was like, I can play that and be fine. But I was considering doing like audits instead. To not give you back anything.
Right.
And then I just realized, oh wait, no, it doesn't have a T. So that was.
Yeah, it was good board.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Now, I know, isn't that nice?
Very impressed.
So you knew, did you fish for it at all once you got the queue?
As soon as I got so I left. I saw it as soon as I got the queue.
Yeah.
I was looking for extensions earlier. I had non-vocal was a possibility, but that was the first time I considered that. As soon as I entered the queue, I saw it.
That's just beautiful. Yeah.
I was not fishing for that.
Yeah. And the leader is good, right?
I think so. It just looked good for a second.
Yeah.
Plus, it gave me a spot for my bingo.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. What about Fun Hooks for Edgeley?
W,
not E, not H.
I don't know. Oh, nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
Yeah, I was just in a weird spot there, and
Oh, needler's no good.
so my last full rack. I mean, when there were still tiles to exchange, was WHKF, another H.
Hulk was a very nice play out of that round.
Oh, I didn't know what else to do because I didn't want to shut down my bingo lane here in theory, and it just didn't happen. I just had kind of weird racks. Like even when I played this, I had a B left, so I thought about.
That's weird. Yeah.
Did you saw this line obviously? But it wasn't a real likely.
It's not much I can do. Not much I can do to block it anyway. Would you accept faxers?
No.
Okay, I've gotten away with that before.
Have you?
There
probably should be a word.
It
right?
should be.
Yeah. It probably is in call-in. So I can
Probably,
take my shot. Just joking.
I had a header with a Strede that didn't play, obviously.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what other letters could have given me that.
Okay, there's no applicants. Okay.
Needle ear is not good.
Yeah, no, it looks weird.
Yeah, I'm sure
It looks weird, but I wasn't confident in like if I ever
Yeah.
go back.
And you had a bingo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's no.
Yeah, needle ear's not good, which is interesting. And then I thought we might hook on here.
Yeah. I wanted this turn. I wanted to do like Chagti here.
Yeah.
But you got a blank and it just opened, so it's
Right.
a bit weird. Yeah, definitely. The last day was important. Yeah.
I didn't like this play after my phony.
You just don't have anything else,
I don't.
and it's also good to get rid of some of my information about your rack.
Right. That's why I thought to play an extra tile or two. And plus it gave me a no hook.
Yeah.
And an A hook there.
No,
I
think
I kept an O and S and a blank. But then I drew.
Yeah.
I had Visory.
I was just hoping you didn't put the S here, drop it down for vocals, because I don't think this takes an S.
Yeah. I don't do that.
So,
what was that? Did I have a? At one point I had Visory, which isn't a good word. Yeah,
Also,
so nothing there. Visory plus a blank. Nothing there.
Yeah.
Eight. Yeah, advisory and revisory I saw, but nowhere to play them.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, left IS blank with the overread.
what's that?
This left IS blank. Is that what happens?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought about holding the O, but I thought to play it.
We like Ivy above equivocal because it forks.
Oh, Ivy here. Yeah, that's
I
really
almost
cool.
played Ivy. I considered that for about a minute, except there were still.
There's a bunch of T's left.
Yeah, but I needed to probably take a risk, and the thing that scared me, the J was still left.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Was it at that point?
Oh, no.
that was
it wasn't. No. You played Jow right before that, right?
Earlier, yeah.
But there were 2 or 3 T's left, I think, at the time.
3.
But I probably needed to take that chance.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Yeah, surprised that I never played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you kept turning over tiles.
Yeah.
You probably played 58 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't miss any bingos on my earlier racks. I just thinking I was going to miss one. I had the blank in the opening turn.
What else can it be here?
M maybe K.
M, I think. Yes, oddly.
Do you want to know the answer?
Yes.
Seedings is phony.
Seedings is phony. I got 2 phonies by you.
Just an M.
Which one? I knew
never
Seedings. How can
challenge that?
Seedings is phony? That's crazy.
You got 2 phony bingos by me.
Oh. Now I'm being mocked online.
Oh, come on. I got an ad right there.
No, I had Siemens. I knew Siemens. That's a weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, I never would have known you were challenged.
Edginess is the
Oh, yeah. That's true.
but it looks totally like
Yeah.
Oh, seedings. I mean,
Yeah.
like a whatever.
Tournament seedings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good one. A good
Yeah,
open
no,
board,
it's
and
a good game. Yeah.
if that triple had been,
I should.
I was 50-50 on it. I talked myself into it, but
I would play it.
Yeah, it didn't look right to me.
no, I didn't. Is there an anagram for Alphonse? There is. No?
I don't think so.
No, there's not. It's I almost had tableau. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, they're starting to tail out on that one. We're going to wrangle players for the last game, and the commentators are going to stretch our legs and definitely not go down to the happy hour at all, I promise. We will be back with one more game of Scrabble from the Crescent City Cup. Don't forget, we're back all day tomorrow. Play begins at 9:30 Central Time, and we'll be back with CSW for the morning block. But one more game today as well after this quick break. Y'all don't go anywhere.